You're just gonna keep knocking your knees into mine.
You got knocky knees.
You've got knocking knees. It's that only child shit. Okay, no, that's absolutely right. Okay, yeah, I keep doing it. Ooh, I actually felt it. Okay. No, let's get down to business. It's always if I don't get it first, then I'm like, well, do I know anything? Okay.
Do we know?
Okay. Hello, babies, and welcome back to Detox.
Oh, I see it this time.
Like, is it...
It's a fire truck.
We're under a fire ban, watch your mouth. Hello, babies, and welcome back to Detox, your safe space to explore your creativity, expand your critical thinking skills, embrace your cringe, and prime yourself for connection. And today on the podcast, we have another double dipper for the second time on the Detox stage. Please welcome Amber.
Yeah, hi.
I think that's how you started the last episode, too.
That's how I plan to start all of them.
Okay, yes, we could...
That's my signature.
So today, babies, we are going to talk about being only children because we are both only children.
Sure are.
And I feel like it's gotten us to kind of a similar place, but there are various ways in which we are very different from each other. So we're going to talk ourselves through the experience of being only children and how that impacts the way we live.
Yeah?
Is that where we're going with this? Like, being an only child is such a different experience.
Yeah. And it's not really something you can describe to somebody with a sibling. Like, they just don't.
Oh, yeah. I thought you were going to say describe. And then I was like, well, what are we doing here?
But no, it's just like...
Well, in the same way, if you flip it around, like, we don't know what it's like to have siblings.
That's
either.
true.
We don't know what they got going on. But you can kind of see it and you can kind of tell.
Yeah.
So we're going to start with some traits that you can find online with just a rudimentary Google search. And we're going to see if we line up with these traits. I wonder, okay, if you're listening and you're an only child, let us know in the comments. So we'll see if we match up with these traits here. Now, there's a lot of stereotypes at work here, a lot of hate to dismantle, but that's a different program here on my YouTube channel. Ding! Okay, the first one is lonely. God, this feels like therapy, Amber. So tell me.
Yes, David.
When did you first feel lonely?
I don't know that I ever have.
I would say the same thing.
I quite enjoy solitude and just doing my own thing.
And I think there's a difference between like loneliness and being alone. Like, you can be alone and not be lonely, And it forces you, this is already we can't even start with just that, but it's because there wasn't that we didn't grow up with like those peers.
Yeah, we didn't.
There was so much alone time.
Yeah, you had to, like, for me personally.
Yes, tell us about your person.
I was an only child that grew up on a farm just in the middle of nowhere, so I didn't have like a community of people to like go interact with whenever, like, if I ever felt the need to go interact with anybody. So I was just used to just entertaining myself and just existing with myself and being okay with that.
So you're saying not even like the siblings weren't there, but like a community at large wasn't there because you were out in the farm. You really escaped that horse girl life.
I did.
Were you ever a horse girl?
I was.
For
a time, I dreamt of having my own horse.
I always knew you were that girl. Why does that make perfect sense right now in this moment? That's interesting. Wow. I had never considered that. Wow. These are the moments as to why I record these podcasts.
The more you know.
Wow, yeah. Welcome to Amber's Horses.
The fuck?
I can see it. Okay. Yeah, I guess I had a big community around me. Like, I had those communities, but I went out and made them. And that was something that I felt like I learned to do because I wanted to do that.
Oh, okay.
Because I wasn't as okay being alone. It's different now that I'm an adult, but when I was younger, I would get myself into so much. I wanted to know everybody.
Oh, yes.
And to be honest, I kind of still do. I like being around people.
I think that's one of our big differences.
Yeah, like the being, like, if you define introvert versus extrovert as being charged up by being with people or being like taken away from by being with people, I feel charged up for the most part.
I feel taken away from.
Yeah, that's wild. like I feel physically taken away from. Like I need time to rest, but I don't need the mental. Like I have more gas. I have more gas in the tank to spend time with people the more I spend time with people.
Oh, see, I'm the opposite.
Oh. Yeah, my battery doesn't like whatever. It goes the other way but then sometimes if I go like a week without being around people, then I find it really hard to like get back into it.
Yes.
And I'm like, wait, how much eye contact do I hold in the elevator with a stranger? I don't remember.
Stare them down.
What was appropriate a week ago? Because I haven't left. Anyway, that's about me with my nose
Minor things.
in my iPad 19 hours of the day. All right, I'm fine. So no, I was never really lonely, but I would go out there and just make all those relationships. And I didn't have great skills at that. But oh, thank God that's different. Okay.
Yes.
Self-centered. These are all so bad. So tell me, when did you first discover you were a self-centered witch?
From day one.
Were you ever though? Because my experience of you is not a self-centered person.
No, I have never been a self-centered person.
Okay. I don't think I could say the same thing.
I know.
I have been exceedingly self-centered at times.
As such.
Because what's one of the funny things I say to you is, I need you to anticipate and acknowledge my needs. And that's not in earnest, but when I did hear it, it sounded like something I would say, so that's why it stuck. Yeah, I've been self-centered. Again, in the last handful of years, I've really worked on that.
Yes.
And it's a lot different. But my like first instinct, almost 95% of the time, is that.
Oh, shit.
Being self-centered. But I don't always take it. Mm-hmm. I have access to like actually see the choice before I make it, and before I didn't. Yeah. It was just autopilot, and I'm like, all right, that's some questionable behavior. God.
We gotta work on that.
And we did. Thank God for therapy.
Honestly.
2 Jonathans in a row. Can you believe it? Okay.
Joe Nathans.
No, got it. Kylie, cut that out. They don't need to know that. Okay, how about less empathetic?
I'm gonna say no to that one too.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm a pretty empathetic person.
Yeah. I would agree for me too. Mm-hmm. I haven't always been great at showing it, but I've always felt.
Yes.
A lot.
Yes.
The feelings are constant.
Constant.
Amber. Oh my God. Okay, next. More anxious.
I used to be. I'm not so much as an adult anymore. But when I was child and growing up, holy moly.
And what changed? Why is it different now?
I don't know if it's just like, I don't know, more maturity, or just like I'm more comfortable being an adult because I've lived by myself for so long now.
The practice. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, here's the vibe.
It's just like, and realizing too that nobody knows what they're doing. Like there's no cookie cutter way to adult. Everybody's just out here winging it. So then I was like, well, there's nothing to really worry about or be anxious about, because everyone's just doing what they do. Yeah,
so practice, just moving through those same motions. Like I've had a lot of anxiety and still do, but I don't know if that's necessarily related being related to being an Jesus Christ. I don't know if that's necessarily related to being an only child.
Yeah, I don't think mine was related in relation to being an only child.
But I guess how would we even know? Right?
That's true.
Okay, next up is being independent and rarely asks for help.
Oh yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
All the time.
And like by extension of this, have you taken criticism well in your past?
Absolutely not.
No. Earth shattering.
Oh yes.
Shattered.
Like
how dare you? And it's just okay. I have this very specific memory here. Let me tell you this. Okay, when I was in university, I was in a stagecraft class. Julia Wazalewski was you know what? It was her first year. It was her first year at our university. And she was like new, and you know, there's like being uncomfortable with some like being new and that. Yeah. She felt a little bit awkward, and I was giving off only child syndrome probably so hard in those like earlier university days.
Yeah.
And we were making props because it was a stagecraft class. For like, okay, it's like the shadow theater where like there's the muslin in like the spot of the stage. It's just basically like a stretched tight fabric, and then there's a light at the very back of the stage, and then you put shapes in front of it, and you can build scenescapes. And depending on how far away you are between the light and the thing, the sizes are different. Whatever the hell
nowadays.
So this was like a theater for young audiences thing that was happening, and I was in charge of making the set piece of the cityscape.
Oh no.
And the way that they had pictured it working was that it was on like a rolling thing.
Okay.
So you could roll, it would be like small and really close to the light, and you would roll that thing, and the cutouts would make it look like buildings
okay.
as if you were traveling.
Yep.
I had a really hard time making that piece.
Yes.
And I didn't make anything effectively. And I remember being done and like, okay, so you know when you're in the middle of a project and you don't feel like you're succeeding at it, and then you start to panic.
Ooh, yes.
And then you make stupid decisions. Well, there was probably about 8 too many glue sticks through the hot glue gun on this thing, and I just remember there were just heaps of hot glue all over this thing that were done in like a haphazard, nonsensical way. And I remember Julia Wazalewski coming over to it and looking at it, and the first thing out of her mouth was, "Oh, that's a lot of glue." And I remember being so upset, and I wasn't good about hiding it either.
Yeah.
And I just was so angry. And that's part of this, like, just, yeah, not being able to take any criticism.
Yes. Yes.
And I hate that. And I'm not the same way anymore.
No, same.
How, like, do you even know how you did it?
Because all through university, my degree, and a lot of the classes, you had to have class critiques for your projects.
Anything creative.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So then you just get used to people bragging on your stuff.
And it's not even, right? It's being in that headspace to be able to take it in is the thing.
And not be like, and not take it personally. Like
Yeah.
it's just, they're evaluating your work.
Because you do have to listen, but you don't have to take the advice. And like, you could try it. That's interesting. We were talking about that earlier today. Of just like, you can tell me anything and I'll give it a shot.
Yeah.
And even if I don't like it and don't take that advice, I'll still learn something.
Right?
You just gotta, we're always about ego dissolution here.
Fuck that ego.
Get it out of here. Ever. This is a family program.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Please don't swear. Yeah.
Frig that ego.
I'm always saying that. Okay, being more sensitive. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I was a crier. Always crying. Were you ever a crier?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I can't picture you as a crier. Can you picture me as a crier?
No.
That's interesting.
No.
But I guess we never met each other
Well, I
in that
guess,
phase.
actually, no, that's a lie, because I've seen you cry once.
Really? When was it?
So it's when we first started hanging out, and you had just broken up with...
Oh my God.
And I remember I
What
picked
a
you up.
stupid. You've been around me for so many of my worst life experiences, and that's the one. Okay, yeah, tell the story. Roll the fucking.
I don't remember where I picked you up or if we were just hanging out after work one day, but we were driving in my vehicle and you were in the passenger
Just
seat.
crying.
And you
like a
were
little
just
bitch.
crying.
I don't remember that. I remember being sad
Yeah.
in general. That was a nothing situationship anyway.
We learned things.
But that was 17-year-old me.
Oh, yeah, that was
right?
very young you.
Yeah, because I was still in grade 12. Anyway, wow, that goes back.
It's deep.
Wow. Okay, Amber. Let's just need solitude.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. How about being an overachiever?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I feel that. I mean, you're listening to my goddamn podcast right now. We're over here doing all this other stuff. Oh, wise. Are you wise, Amber?
I've been called wise before, so I guess
everyone
so.
says. What does wise mean?
Like you have the wisdom.
You are the beholder of the wisdom. Oh, okay, good point. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
We have perfectionism.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Less agreeable personality.
No.
I have struggled with this.
Oh, I know.
I mean, there is this story. I just have to tell you. No, I remember. I don't know if I want to talk about this. Yeah, having a less agreeable personality. Unfortunately, there's a substantial amount. Unfortunately, there's a substantial. Fuck. It's because I'm reading this word as I'm saying substantial every time. Unfortunately, there is probably a substantial amount of people in this world who just think.
Let us know in the comments.
Yeah,
what they
no,
think.
I'm finding it. I don't want to say that maybe that I'm not an agreeable person. I have left. It's only been within the last 5 years where I haven't been leaving a wake of people who were mad at me in my life.
A path of destruction, as
not
it were.
destruction, but like because I suffered from all, I don't know, suffrage is the word, because I dealt with so many of these like negative traits, I just couldn't sustain good relationships.
Yeah.
So then things would always like come to an end. But nothing really has been coming to an end for me, like relationship wise,
Yes.
in the last many years. So that's nice.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's different now. Thank God. I'm a firm but fair. No, that sounds weird. That sounds weird because it's an alliteration and they're both F's. Oh, maybe because of that. Yeah, that's fair. Anyway, okay.
Other things.
Yeah, we're better at that now. We're better at that now.
Yes.
Because I just kept looking around and I was like, this can't be the way people are doing things.
No. Sounds exhausting.
It was, yeah. So we definitely have different like levels, I don't know, of severity, because if I'm listening to this correctly, Amber, I've had all the bad traits and you haven't.
I don't know how this
So
happened.
this isn't necessarily only children, because
No.
you think you're up here on your high horse.
Sorry.
All these things. Okay, like Amber's wise and a perfectionist, but she's also agreeable. Okay, bad sharer.
Oh, that's me.
You were a bad sharer?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
I was the shy, quiet kid that didn't talk to a soul because I just would rather not.
Yeah. But like if somebody asked to borrow something of yours, would that be a problem when you were a kid? Mm-hmm. Okay. Just like no. And what would the reason have been in your mind?
I think probably a little bit of the self-centered because I'm used to like having my toys and it was my, like I had possession of it. So how dare you take it away from me kind of thing.
And was it ever like you thought they were going to destroy it? Like not being trusting of them being like good to that thing?
Mm-hmm. Or
Yeah.
like taking it and then never getting it back.
Yeah. That's okay. But like my experience with you has never really been that.
Oh no, we've grown out of that.
I haven't so much. I kind of have. A big one for me, honestly, I'm going to say. And yeah, I have I mean, I guess I'll say this if people are listening to this point. This wouldn't be a clip for the Instagram, but this would be, I have like a referral coming for like the OCD testing or whatever.
Ooh.
For me, a big part of that was germs.
Oh really?
Germs really bother me.
Oh shit.
But I also don't really get sick either, which
either.
like is oh, wow.
Sorry.
No, I like germs get me. I'm always thinking about where my dirty little fingers have been.
Your little piggies.
Exactly. First thing when I get into the house is I hit that. Anyway, but yeah, so for me the sharing was like I don't want you to touch this, and then depending on what it was made out of, like if it's a fabric or a material that you can't like sanitize, that like I was less willing to share.
Yes.
Yeah, and the people are going to be rough with it, and I just didn't have any trust for anyone. How is this just therapy for me now? What the hell's going on here, Amber? Deep thinker. You have some deep thoughts?
Oh yeah.
Would you like to share one of those with the class right now?
Well, I don't have any right now.
So it's something deep.
Deep.
No. Yeah, deep thinker. But it's that alone time.
Yeah.
What else are you doing there?
Or sometimes when I'm listening to music or a sick playlist, I just go into deep thinking.
Oh my God. Okay, so those are the only child traits. Amber, just count how many of these you had.
Oh my.
Yeah, I can't.
Uh.
Yeah, please do it out loud into the microphone. Okay.
Okay, I got 1, 2,
3. No, sorry. I'm going to count mine
3.
also.
Oh, we missed one.
Oh, impulsivity.
Impulsive.
You know, I think that might be the... I don't want to keep labeling myself. I was going to say it's the ADD that makes the impulsiveness go. Do you feel... No, it's not therapy. I mean, it kind of is.
Kind of.
Fuck, okay, no, where did I derail this from?
From the impulse.
Oh! Look at that. Sorry. Sorry about that. Impulsivity. Oh my God. Yeah, I've been majorly impulsive. Have you?
I wasn't like in my younger years, but since becoming an adult, yes.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Opposite. What are you impulsive with? Where do these impulsivities happen?
Just like mostly with my spending. With like things that I'm like, you know what, I'm just like a video game, let's say.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what, it's whatever amount of dollars. I'll just pay it off whenever. And then I just buy it.
For like the fun things.
Yeah. For
Yeah.
like satisfaction.
Oh, that satisfaction.
Gratification.
I'm everything on this list. There's nothing that I'm not, by the way. I'm all of these
You
things.
check all those boxes.
Except maybe the wisdom. No, I am wise.
No, I'd say you're wise.
But I've developed it. I wasn't like that. I developed that wisdom through all of these bad things. That's how this looks. Yeah. How many do you have?
I have. Okay, let me recount because I lost count.
Okay.
9.
All right. I don't know who wins. I feel like it's you. So now that we're done with the only child traits, we're going to take a short break and then we're just going to discuss some other questions that we have here.
As it were.
So we'll be right back.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Okay, so now we're back here with your spoiled only children, except it's all just me. No, I'm not bitter about
Excuse
it.
me.
It's okay. Yeah. No. You've been a very nice person. No one's faulting you for that, okay?
Sorry.
Calm down over there. Okay, well, Amber, the first
Bed.
question reads, when did you first clock that, like, being the only child wasn't the normal thing amongst your peers?
I think when I was in, say, I don't know, grade 3, grade 4, and I started having like sleepovers with friends.
Oh.
Because then I would see there were other like siblings running
Yeah.
around, and I'm like, oh, this is how like a multiple child family unit exists.
Yeah. Shocking.
Yeah.
Shocking.
I felt like a lot of chaos almost.
Mm.
And I was like, I am so glad this is not my everyday.
Well, exactly. Because it all comes back to these things like needing your solitude and all of that. Did you get along? Like if you were there and friends with one of them, did you get along with those extras running about?
Like, yeah, I got along, but I wasn't necessarily friends with them.
Yeah.
Like, I was only friends with the friend I was friends with.
Yeah. You didn't like fight with them?
No.
See, I fought with them.
Oh, you're terrible.
I didn't get along with them. No, girl. Like, I was not a nice kid.
Awful.
Oh, no, like
Just
I
kidding.
was. But here's the thing, though. I got along with the adults.
Oh, yeah, me too.
The adults loved me or hated me because if they were immature, yeah. If they had an ego, I have gotten into as a kid so many adults like to the death with teachers and like just adults with egos. And
Yes.
like from like the teacher side of things, and even as an adult now, like if I don't really ever argue with anybody, but like as being a teacher, you don't argue with a child because even if you win, you still lose.
Yeah.
And a lot of adults around me didn't have that concept, and I would just argue and argue and argue with a few of them. But the other ones loved me. Anyway, that's not about that story. That's good.
Were you a teacher's pet?
It was one extreme or the other.
Yeah.
Yes, or they hated me.
Same.
Really?
Same.
Yeah. Yeah, like you just had to get the vibes.
Yeah.
You had to get the vibes. Oh, getting along with like those kids.
Oh, yeah.
I just wasn't an agreeable person. I fought with all my cousins all the time.
Wow.
Like I get along with them now that we're adults, but I just fought.
That's so funny.
Sometimes up to and including physically.
Wow.
Aggression, Amber. Do you remember when we were first friends and we would beat the hell out of each other with those rubber swords?
I had to hide them every time this person would come to my home because he
Physical.
would beat me with them.
As if you didn't whip me senseless with those two.
Retaliation.
We had lots of bruises from that. Covered. I just remember the sounds. Like it was.
I wonder what my roommates thought. I'm probably like, those two.
Yikes. Yeah, we did have a physical aggression stage.
We did.
Yeah. I would still beat your ass with one of those.
I still have them
foam
in my
swords.
my current home.
No, I feel like I would bruise a lot easier now. we're older now. Things are different. God. Yeah, I had that with all of them. Like, yeah, the cousin that's closest to my age, Paris.
Oh, yes.
When we were kids, like I have this memory of shopping with my Oma. It was just me, her, and my Oma shopping Lethbridge. We would go shopping with her, and we would fight for the right side of the back seat. Because we knew that was the safest seat in the car.
Yeah.
So we were like, oh, yeah, you're going to die over there in the left seat. That was the vibe because we did not get along with each other.
Yes.
So we would push and shove and run and trip and like pull hair and nails like into the skin.
You guys are savage.
Yeah, we were. And my home, I remember being like, what the hell is wrong with you two? Stop it. And she would like try to mediate, but we were angry little kids. She's an only child too.
Ooh, yes.
So it was probably worse. Anyway, okay, so the next thing, do you feel like you grew up faster than your siblings? Nope, that's not the word. So do you feel like you had to be more mature and more of an adult because you were around the adults? Like we said that we got along with the adults.
Yes.
Do you feel like I hate the old soul? But do you think that's why you have maturity?
I think so, yeah. Because the only time I ever really hung out with people my age was at school, or if I went to like a birthday party or something extracurricular. Other than that, I was just chilling with my parents or with their friends or whoever.
Yeah.
We're all adults.
Looking back, did you find it exciting when it was happening, or were you bored with the adults? Because there was like this.
Sometimes I was bored.
Yeah.
Especially if they just like sat around a table and drank coffee and just chit chatted.
Oh God.
Which like I can do now as an adult.
But the things that we talk about are not the same as what
Vastly
they
different.
talk about. Yeah.
Vastly different.
But the overall activity. Because all of my experiences with that were probably just people sitting around being racist.
Awful.
I'm not selling my life very well here, am I? But this is just, you know what? Life's about putting it out there.
It is.
You gotta be transparent
Sure do.
for the listener to create a
For the
cohesive
viewer.
listening experience. Yeah, they could be listening on Spotify.
Oh, yeah.
It might just be me though. But hey, there's nothing. I love playing my own podcast in my car.
Yes.
I'm not a narcissist. I checked online. We talked about that last week. Okay. Do you feel lonely? Did you feel lonely with the adults?
Nope.
No, I did.
Oh.
I think though this is kind of like overlapping though with just being like being queer definitely adds like
yeah.
another layer of solitude onto all of this. I think for me, because like I'm probably a lot of these things were from that as well.
Yeah.
So I felt lonely because there were no gay people around.
Yes, that
I
makes
think
sense.
because then when there were like older gay people that I didn't even realize were gay, but like my nervous system knew.
Yeah.
And I was like, I really like this person. And just the way that they're acting is super fun to me. And I don't know why. We know why. Anyway.
Now we know.
We've been new. Okay, do you feel more, a lot of only children feel creative and imaginative. I guess we both enjoy creative things.
Yeah.
You do a lot of creative things.
And I'd like to think my imagination is pretty great, pretty out there. Pretty vast, I guess is the word.
Vast.
Vast imagination.
Amber's got a vast imagination.
You heard it here first. Let us tell you first.
Let us tell you first. Okay. Well, only children have higher IQs. That might be because you're spending more time with your parents.
Yeah.
And like your parents give you more time, supposedly, allegedly, potentially, right? Like one thing that I can't imagine is how am I going to make this sound like I'm not a psychopath? Like the amount of like resources that our parents had for us would have been split in half.
Yes.
If there were more.
Yes.
I guess it would be different because you wouldn't know any different. But with the comparison, it would have been so different.
Like I don't know what it's like to have hand-me-downs. Like have you ever heard of people having hand-me-downs?
Yes, I have. I love that you asked if I knew that. That's wild. So there was always like this person gave us a bag, so try it on and if you like it. But I always, yeah. Yeah, no, I never really experienced hand-me-downs either. Because there was just nobody else around really in that size. I had other cousins, but I was either like, they either had 200 pounds on me or I had 200 pounds on them. It just was very... Obesity is another part of this as well.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Yikes. Okay.
That's tough.
Did we say that? Okay, so only children have higher IQ.
Ooh.
Do you feel smart?
I do. I feel like I got some good meninges.
What the hell are we doing here, Amber? Yeah.
Do you feel smart?
It's It's such a relative question. It doesn't make any sense because I can feel smart, but that doesn't mean I'm smart. But yes, I feel smart. God, the wheels are really falling off here. These people probably don't know what they're listening to. And we don't either.
No.
We don't either. That's okay. It's because we're just spoiled brats. No, it's only me. I'm the only spoiled one here.
Oh, trust and believe I am spoiled.
You were spoiled. You weren't a brat, though.
Sometimes.
Okay, how were you a brat?
I remember there's one time I was staying with my grandparents, and I'd love to play outside all the time. I just existed outside, and my grandmother was trying to call me into the house. I don't know if I was to take a bath or have dinner or what it was, but I would let her get like this close to me, and then I would take off. And so eventually, I think she had to get my grandpa to come after me, and then yeah, he like literally just picked me up and carried me.
Like actually chased you down. Oh my God. Yeah, because you just weren't having it.
Yeah.
You're like, bye. Oh my God.
And then
that is, yeah.
So you know how I'm a prankster, right? Like I love a good prank.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
So
constantly.
Apparently that started when I was super little, because my parents took me out to a restaurant and they were eating or whatever, and I took their car keys and hid them like just behind me. And apparently I was super little when I did this.
Really?
And so, yeah, my mom and dad said they like searched through, like I had a diaper bag and like we're searching through the booth and things for their keys, and here I had them the whole time.
That does seem like you, though. That's so interesting. Because you're always just moving things. Like there's something in your hand. You do, in some ways, behave like a toddler. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like the flippy things. What's that material called? You know, the glittery flip where you run your hand this way and it does that? There's a word for that. But I have buckets, and Amber's always either drawing obscene images or foul words in these boxes.
Sorry.
Yeah, you're always doing something. Interesting. Okay, so you were bratty.
Bratty, but not in like a... like...
Yeah, say whatever word you're going to say that perfectly describes me. Yeah. God, I was... like, there were good parts of my personality.
Oh, of course.
But they were underneath.
I just had to chip away.
We've got them all now. Yeah, I am like a sculpture. Sure, whatever. Okay, so...
Shine bright like a diamond.
Yeah, so only children. Yeah, so in summary, I do feel smart. But I think that's probably part of the overachieverness, too.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that. Just been in school forever. Okay. Wanting undivided attention. Are you an attention hog?
My attention hog?
Were you? Did you need to feel seen?
No. I was the shy person, just chilling in the corner. Just like drawing or reading a book or doing whatever.
That's so interesting because I was the same, but I would add in that I wanted attention so much, but my confidence was so low and I was shy. So then I would just do all the bad things to get that attention, but also don't look at me because I'm shy. You know? Like what?
Now that makes sense.
Why does that make sense now?
Your videography directions. It's gone full circle.
Why? Explain that. So me and Amber have traveled essentially Northern America, and we've taken a lot of videos, hundreds of videos, hundreds of hours of videos. What? How?
You'll say, no, go from straight on. No, actually, come from this angle. No, go. Okay, just pick a name.
It's true. I know how things should be done. God, no, it's not. Yeah. But tone is a big thing. And those like adults that I described earlier that would go toe to toe with me would be ones that would get upset over tone. Because now I can harness it in better ways, but like my sassy tone and like my unbotheredness in that, it came off as aggressive when I was younger. Ooh, yes. And I can make it sound more like jovial or feminine now. And it can be like cuter than it was then. But God, yeah, so I need undivided attention. This is a smear campaign now for me. You're trying to smear me out of existence.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
Never would I ever.
Affirmations. Yeah. Do you need to be told things? Positive affirmations from others?
I do like a good positive affirmation.
Yeah, me too. That's always good. Okay. Well, let's see what we got going on
Oh,
here.
yes, on the flip side.
What other roast can I... Okay, so... Well, but this is some... Yeah, so... So 49.4% of European households only have one child. So definitely the difference between like... But I wonder... Okay, stay with me here. But like the European lifestyle of like only having one child... I'm thinking of my family there. Those are all multi-children families. This isn't cohesive at all. But like the difference is because in the US, everybody's having all these kids.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like we see the TV shows of like 12 kids and counting.
Oh, yes.
And all that stuff. It's just part of the culture. But then that gets into like religion.
I was going to say
too.
religious things.
Yeah. I don't know nothing about birth and no babies.
No.
There's a lot. So yeah, I don't know how we're going to...
Yeah.
Because like when we grew up, you said that for the most part, you were the only child in your classes.
Yeah, and for a lot of the time. And then Allie moved to where I was, and then we were...
And then you met.
Yeah.
And then you became friends.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's... Yeah, there wasn't that many only children around me either. I don't think I got along with them. I can't stress how unagreeable I was. God.
But that was a past you. That was a past you.
Oh, she's still inside. Don't worry.
but we've tamed her a little bit.
I have control over her now. She still talks, but we don't always listen.
No.
Okay. Next up is your friends as siblings. You find those siblings. Yeah, like you, for example, you're probably the closest relationship that I have that's a sibling.
Yeah, you and Allie are pretty much tied for me.
It's just, there's no... Yeah. It is, and I think it's just, like, it is part of the relationship, but it's also the time aspect. Like, because you have seen me grow up.
Yeah.
You know, like, you knew me at 17 years old when I was crying about boyfriends and, like, dry heaving from drinking too much alcohol in the back of your car. Like, it's just, you've seen those lows.
Yes.
You've seen all the highs as
Yes.
well. Yeah. You've seen too much, if we're going to be honest.
No.
Well, that's very nice of you to say, but you've seen too much. I know you have. But I sometimes look back at the pictures that you take of me. I'm like, wait, Amber was there? And then I'm like, who was holding the camera? I'm
Surprise.
like, oh, that's questionable. Yeah, exactly.
I'm not going to say.
Because sometimes I share these pictures with people and they're like, who took that? I'm like, I'm not telling you. Sorry, I'm not doing it. Yeah. But that would probably be weird if you were a sibling. Why? What were you going to say?
Oh, I was just going to say, no wonder why people think we're married.
That's a different problem, though. That's people's straight expectations
yes.
on us.
Yes.
Just because we're people that get along of the opposite sex. But sex, like money, isn't real.
No.
It's a social experience.
Sure is.
We learned that online. Oh my God, Amber.
David.
So friends as siblings. Yeah, making these friends your chosen family.
Yes.
Etc. Etc. Okay, your friend making skills and social skills. This was really divided online because half of the people were like, only children are really bad at creating and maintaining friendships, and only children are really good at maintaining relationships because they have to be social in order to have any like human interaction.
Oh, okay.
Unless your parents are like facilitating that for you, which could be the case. But if your parents don't know how to maintain good relationships, they're not going to be able to teach you.
Yeah.
So do you feel like you were good at making friends or you were the opposite?
I think I was the opposite. Just because I was so shy and like you didn't have the confidence.
Yeah.
To be like, hey, here I am.
And just like the experience of doing that enough times.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now like having the confidence to like talk to somebody random.
Yes.
That's that kind of same thing of like breaking that emotional ice.
And I think what helps doing that is us going out and doing Does Size Matter.
Okay.
And just like being with random people.
It is, yeah. It takes so much practice, but I think that's the only thing that gets you there is if you just keep practicing it.
Yes.
Yeah, so if you're nervous around people, just
go be around people.
Don't be.
You heard it here first.
You just gotta practice. But even you wouldn't like for the school experience. I got read a lot by my teachers when they would experience my personality. And then somebody would say like, oh yeah, David's an only child. And then the teacher would be like, oh, that makes sense. I got that so much.
Like, excuse me?
One of my teachers, I'm going to say her name, Aura Jess. She was one of my favorite teachers ever. And you know, like, okay, we use this kind of comedy with each other where we're mean.
Yeah.
But But I'm not actually being mean to you. It's just,
No.
but if people hear it on the street, they're like, wow, they're abusive to each other. And we're
Yeah.
like, no, this is just how we talk, actually. It's just that, like, I don't know, what's that word? Ripping? Just like
Yeah.
poking? I don't know.
Jabbing?
Yeah. You're on my train of thought, and I don't think it's the right one, but we're both in the same.
But I hopped aboard.
We're in the same spot. That's all that matters. Yeah, exactly. This teacher, oh my God. So I remember I get one of my friends in middle school. Can't believe I had any. No, that's not what we're talking about. One of my friends in math class like needed help with one, and I was like standing beside her desk, and I grabbed her pencil and was like showing her something, and she just like felt my hand.
Yeah.
And really loudly this girl said, "Oh my God, David, your hands are so soft." And that teacher, without missing a beat, says back to the entire classroom, "Yeah, that's what happens when you don't do anything." And that was one of the first times where I was like, that's funny.
Wow.
That's great. I loved her.
Yes.
I loved her. We had the same birthday. And the year that she was my teacher, I was exactly her age because I was 14 and she was turning 28.
Oh, wow.
So we were exactly half each other's age. She was really fun.
Yeah.
Also a Virgo. Those were the teachers that I would get along with, not the Virgos. But that was the kind of teacher.
Yeah, yeah.
The one that didn't take me that seriously. And they were able just to like be nice and funny.
Yeah, ones you could have fun with were also my favorites.
Yeah, not those stuck up ones. Okay, so the next line here just straight up says spoiled bitches. Yes. So maybe we can.
Were you a spoiled bitch?
Yes.
Same.
You weren't mean though. Were you ever mean? Did you have a mean phase?
Not really, no.
Oh, of course not.
Sorry.
Maybe I was nicer. If you knew me when I was younger, was I nice to you? I just don't ever remember being nice.
Actually, I guess that's not true. I did have a bullying phase, but it was because I knew I could fuck with that person. So I could push their buttons and get them to react. So I did that all the time, and they never suspected it was me.
Yeah, I can identify with that as well.
Yes.
When I was in grade... Oh, God, this is embarrassing. When I was in grade 3, there was a girl who was probably in grade 8.
Okay.
And it was a K-12 school. And I found myself on the swing set with this girl. We didn't get along before we got to the swing set. And we're both swinging along, and this girl says to me, you know, my mom said, the clouds, they're really high up there. Like, she's in grade 8. I'm in grade 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And I remember looking at her, and just like you said, I was motivated by one thing, to mess with them.
Yes.
I went, they're not that high up there. If I could get high enough on the swing and grab one. I knew that wasn't true. I knew the clouds were far away.
Oh, yeah.
I just wanted to argue. I wanted to feel something. And because she didn't understand that I was not speaking with earnest.
Yeah.
I'm saying earnest a lot. Because she just didn't make the connection that I was messing with her. And I didn't realize maybe that I was messing with her as much as I was. It was just fun.
Yeah.
And then I called into the principal's office. And the principal was like, how are you bullying a grade 8 girl? You're 7.
You're asserting that dominance.
And I was like, I don't know. Have you talked with her? She's insufferable. And I just remember, like, I could feel that man wanted me to feel bad about what you've done. But I remember just being like, I don't care. That sounds so bad, but
yeah,
that's how I didn't care.
I mean, at the time, I didn't care about what I did either.
Oh, God.
It was the same thing. I got joy out of knowing this person would react the way that they did.
I think a lot of people are like that, though. And, like, especially, like, the people in the comment sections of some of the things, like, they just want to get that reaction.
Yep.
But it doesn't come from a healthy place, which we now can recognize on the other side.
Yes.
Because you don't need to be awful to... Well, sometimes you do. It is kind of interesting, though, to still possess those skills. Because I still use some of those skills of messing with people, kind of. In, like, a funny way, like with you.
Yeah.
Or in a actual, slightly passive-aggressive way with people who deserve it out in the wild. It's like developing the discernment skills of who's acceptable to be messed with.
And I wonder, too, if that's something that you also develop working a customer service job, because you have to do that so much with customers.
Developing that backbone. But that's like the rigidness of the only child. Do you have a strong backbone?
Oh, yes.
You do, actually. That's my experience of you. If Amber doesn't want to do it, she's not doing it. No. And that's actually something that I've taken from you as well. Like, that was inspiring to me, of somebody who could just... And it looked like you did it quite easily. Like, no was a complete sentence for you.
Yeah, no.
And I love that. And I have more of that now because of you. So that's great. Good for you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, at least something good rubbed off on me.
There's more to come.
I'm going to sound so bitter if this is the first podcast that somebody's listened to. I just sound like the worst. But that's what makes me funny, to be honest. Yes. Good Lord. Okay. Let's move on from being a spoiled witch. Princess. Answer your phone.
Princess.
Okay, so you know Adele's an only child. And I'm basically Adele, you know, the red beard.
Yes.
Betty White.
Love Betty White.
Never forget. She died, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's tough. Elton John.
Oh, he's good too.
Gay. Courtney Cox.
Oh, awesome.
Have we watched Cougar Town together?
Yes.
I love Cougar Town. Oh, good. Ooh, traveling.
Ooh, traveling.
This was something too that I would notice the difference between like single family households and not. Like I went traveling a lot more because if you have to factor in the finances of like adding another child to the mix, it's kind of the money thing again. But just I traveled with one parent a lot. Like it wasn't always together, but it was, I don't know what I'm going for here. Like I would go here with my mom and then here with my dad. It was almost like I got double because there was only one of me. Like I feel like if there was two of us, then one of us would have went with mom more and one of us would have went with dad more.
Oh, I get what you're saying.
Like trips, but I went to everywhere pretty much for everything.
Yeah.
Right? Is it the other one is working or whatever it is? But I also just got brought along everywhere.
Yeah, me too. I was just along for the ride.
Yeah.
Just hanging out, just vibing.
Right? And it would have been so different because if there was an older or younger one, we would have either have been babysitting or being babysat.
Were you ever a babysitter?
Not a good one.
No.
But I was, yeah.
Oh, okay.
What can you expect? You've been listening to this. Imagine me being... Yes.
This is fine.
When I first figured out that you can't microwave a fork was when I was babysitting. Yeah, and then the kids told the parents, and then they never had me over again.
Yes.
Can't imagine why.
I don't understand why.
Oh my God. Okay. Yeah, and then I was a babysitter for like a different family for a long time, and I suffered with such bad anxiety that I would just like, the kid would be in bed, sleeping, read stories, good night, whatever. And then I would sit in the house feeling alone because the kid was asleep, terrified.
Ooh.
And I just, because darkness really freaked me out too. And so, I would just sit there in an anxiety attack until 1 a.m. when these parents would come home. Yeah.
I feel like I would be the same if I ever did anything like that. It'd be like, oh my God, I'm responsible for this whole other human being, and I'm a child.
I was like 13. Yeah.
So young.
Maybe even 12. Wow. Yeah, if push came to shove, I would not have been prepared to do anything ever. Like, not even, I just would have panicked. Like,
honestly, same.
It is wild. It is wild.
I have one that I just thought of that's not on the list.
Oh my God, tell me right now.
Did you ever have, how do I explain this?
Well, yes.
Like with both of your parents, did you have secrets with one that you didn't have with the other? Like, did you have different, I guess, kind of, not relationships, but different...
Like playing them against each other?
Not really playing them against each other, but just like different things that you would do, or like different, like, I guess, special activities that you would do with either just one or just the other.
Can you give an example?
Like for me and my dad, it was, we would go to movie theaters all the time. We would go see movies. And then for me and my mom, whenever we would like go to town to say run an errand or something, and we would order food and we'd have to wait for it because back in the day you couldn't order ahead.
Yeah.
We would just like drive around and look through like different suburban neighborhoods and just like look at different houses.
That's fun. Well, sadly, when I think about this, my answer is like, well, for the most part, all the things I did with my mom are like the domestic tasks.
Okay.
So like, because we do everything with everybody all the time.
Yeah.
It was like the cooking and the shopping and the domestic. I guess no, not necessarily. Like we did still do like fun extracurricular things together. But I never really did any domestic tasks with my dad. It was all like the fun things.
Oh, yeah.
Which is kind of sexist. So I kind of hate that.
Yeah.
But I think that's pretty consistent. So the dads just do the fun things
Yeah.
because men are idiots. Okay. No, of course. I don't believe that.
No,
But we're not going to get into sexism.
not today.
Yeah, the sun's almost down.
Oh.
It is gorgeous, though.
It is
'cause,
very gorgeous.
I love that. The childhood responsibilities.
Oh,
And
yes.
chores. Did you have chores, Amber?
I did.
What chores did you do?
I had to do the dusting.
Welcome to
As it
Amber's
were.
dusting.
Sometimes I had to vacuum.
Okay.
And then I had to mow my grandmother's lawn in the summer, which was
Okay.
a farmyard full of lawn.
Did you didn't ride it? You pushed it?
Oh no, ride.
Okay.
Like a little tractor.
Did you enjoy that, though?
Sometimes.
Yeah. Like hot and gross and buzz,
It was nice because you
etc.?
got a good suntan, but it took so long because there was so much.
Lots of grass.
All the grass.
Groveling in it.
I was groveling.
Yeah. Did you get paid or anything?
For the grass
chores?
mowing I did.
Okay. I remember having a chore chart,
Oh, you had a chart?
stickers, etc. And I was always in a the people are really learning about me, and I don't even know, you wouldn't even really know this about me either. Oh, there is another bad example I have of my behavior that's unrelated that I just remembered from talking about earlier. No, yeah, I had chore charts and there would be stickers on them, and I would make like an amount of money for each sticker placement, and I could make the choice to do them or not.
Okay.
I think for a lot of them, but I could earn the money. Everything was monetary.
Yeah.
And then I became driven by money. And then I was always making a deal. I'm always,
Deals were to be made.
we're always going to make a deal here because
Welcome to David Shipping and Receiving.
I need this thing. So what do I have? Like I would sell things that were technically mine, but they existed in the house, but then they ended up staying in the same place, but the ownership transferred to a different person.
Ooh, yes.
So stupid.
Yes.
I just wanted money. Because it was selfish. This is all so crazy. Yeah. But I guess that's not to say maybe I wouldn't have been any different if there wasn't any siblings around. Like, we don't know.
Yeah.
Because
it's
you
hard to
weren't like
say.
that. Were you driven by money when you were a kid?
No.
Yeah,
I was just here to have fun. Just chill.
Yeah. I had the credit cards memorized.
Oh, man.
And if I did less than $30 a month, nobody would notice.
Wow.
Oh my God, that sounds so bad. It's funny. This card is definitely expired, so I don't mind saying the number. But I say this, it's just still there. 5191230045695872.
Wow.
Over a decade ago. Why do I still know that number?
That's crazy.
I don't remember the expiration date or the code anymore. But yeah, 5191230045695872.
Bam.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's on Mary Had a Little Lamb.
And that is on Mary Had a Little Lamb. Yeah, I just wanted, I liked things. I like
Yes.
things. But if you're
Yes.
shy and you're not with a lot of people, things keep you company.
They do.
That sounds sad.
I remember I had full-blown conversations with stuffed animals.
Really?
Yeah, stuffed animals are my jam.
What? And explain that to me.
Like, I don't know, we would just... I don't remember what we would talk about, but
Just
we
chit
would
chat.
just chit-chat.
Like,
In my own little, make-believe world, I guess.
were you speaking for them in response, or was it you just talking to them and imagining the response?
I think talking to them and then imagining the response.
Okay. That's fun. I like that. It's like the God thing of if you talk to God, that's great. But if God talks back to you, you need to go to the hospital. I love that line so much.
Stat.
Yeah, that's interesting. Oh, you know what I was obsessed with?
What's that? Was it tropical foliage?
Webkins. Did you ever
Webkins.
get into Webkins?
I didn't get into them. I got a couple of them, but I never got
Oh, shit.
because I was into the Beanie Babies.
Oh, because you're old.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
That checks out.
Okay, Beanie Babies. Was there any online component to Beanie Babies?
Nope.
It's just fun to say Beanie Babies.
Because I think they were pre-internet.
Okay. Yeah, the Webkins thing is you would buy the stuffed animal and then there would be a code.
Yeah.
And then you type the code in and dick around and then have that there. So often I would walk down to a store in Medicine Hat that sold those things. That's what I need the money for.
Yeah.
So I would sell the painting on the wall that I did to my dad and be like, now you own it, but I just get $20 and it's still going to sit there.
But I get $20 out of it.
Exactly. And then I waltz my ass down to the like pharmacy to buy a Webkin stuffy and then like as many packs of cards as I could.
Yes.
And then I'd walk back to my house with like so much dopamine just looking at all the things I had in the bag. And then I would type on all of it in online and do the things and then be like, all right, I need another hit of something. So then I'd waltz over to the deep freeze and grab another small handful of the semi-sweet chocolate chips. And I'd eat that whole kilogram thing.
Damn.
What the fuck? This is how I lived my life. It's crazy though.
Yeah.
It's like those obsessions, but I just love you get into it. And I'm like, I need more.
Yeah.
I need more of these. I had so many Webkins. Where did those go? I don't know. Actually, they're probably in my mother's garage somewhere.
Oh, we know.
No, I don't think I ever talked to any of them. But do you out loud talk to yourself when
Sometimes.
you're alone? I didn't realize that I constantly do that
Yeah.
all the time. And it's funny because you exist in my imagination almost just as much as you exist in real life to me.
Same with me for you.
Because I sometimes feel like I've spent time with you and I'm just laughing out loud and mumbling to myself. That sounds so weird.
Same.
But I'll like think of something, like something will hit my funny, and then I'm like, ooh, Amber would love how that sounds.
Yes.
Okay, Amber, how are we gonna finish this up here? Childhood responsibilities, chores, we're stealing. So really, in conclusion, being an only child doesn't make you a good or a bad person. As you've learned so far in this episode, you can be an only child and be a good or bad person.
It's an either or.
So, in conclusion, Amber is not selfish.
No.
But that doesn't mean that you can't be. Like, all of the things I'm thinking about aren't only child related now because my mindset is in me being an awful child is the only thing I can think of. But
That's terrible.
Here's a story I can end with here, Amber. It's a short story. I feel like I've told you before.
Yes.
I've never needed glasses. But I've had glasses.
Oh.
For a lot of my life. Did I ever wear them consistently? No. How did I get glasses? Prescription glasses? I lied.
To get a good deal?
No. I lied when the optometrist puts a little spoon in front of your eye and says, how far can you read down that chart?
Yeah.
I could read farther down that chart than I let on. And I started to get just a few of those wrong.
Yeah.
So I could get glasses. But I was smart enough that I didn't completely do everything wrong.
Yeah.
I just wanted to like slowly start missing more as time went on because I didn't want a prescription that I couldn't wear because I knew if
Yeah.
I like lied too much, I wouldn't be able to see with the glasses on. I was like 8 and just like had that like only child syndrome of like, this is what I want and I know how I'm going to get it. So,
Wow.
and I did, and I got it. And now I suffer from migraines. We don't know if that's related. The jury's still out on that.
Yes.
But it very well could be. It's just so many parts of me fit right into this only child syndrome.
Yeah.
Just a spoiled little brat. It's great. I mean, it's not. But I do enjoy where it's got me so far.
Yes.
Because you come around it on the other side.
And it's great.
And it does. But, okay, I'll say this, though. I'll say this for my green flag now. Especially as being a teacher. I got along with all of those spoiled kids.
Oh, yes.
And there's more of them. There's more of them now that are the only child or have only child syndrome because there's more resources in the family, even if there's 2 of them. Because so many teachers hate those like spoiled only children because so many teachers like hate that attitude. I don't have a problem with attitude from kids because of that. And that's an incredible armor that I have that so many other people in my experience don't have because it takes so long to develop.
Yeah.
But for the way that I can take things not personally in the world is
It's
because
a big skill.
yeah, when people are shitty to me and not even like shitty, but what I perceive to be negative, which can be anything. You can think yourself into anything. But just because I think back to my past behavior and how maybe mean or rude I was, didn't actually correlate to like who I was.
Yeah.
Because there were so many other things going on, but just being able to like internalize that the way that everybody else behaves has everything to do with them and nothing to do with you.
Yes.
Yeah. And just that experience, it really made me a better everything, honestly.
Yes.
And then when like people are like, wow, you have so much patience with that kid that wasn't showing you any respect. I'm like, well, because it's not about me, actually.
No.
That's always the thing,
It's
though.
all them.
But it's the ego, and so many people don't have that. So yeah, it makes my movement around the world a lot easier,
Yes.
especially like as a performer and all of that, where you're putting yourself out there.
Getting those critiques, as it were.
Just not taking it personally.
Yes.
Oh my God, Amber.
David.
So in conclusion, I'm a spoiled brat and you're just spoiled.
Yes.
No, you were a brat.
I was Brad.
You ran away. You just were nice. And you know what? What a lovely note to end on. Amber's
Yes.
nice.
Heard it here first.
Amber's nice.
Take that, haters.
I can't wait. Yeah, there's lots of them.
Oh, I'm sure.
For you personally.
Yes.
Yeah, that beef jerky face. Face like a burnt zucchini. Well, thank you so much for spending this last
Thank you.
hour with me recording this podcast.
Yes.
I'm sure it was exceedingly chaotic.
Oh, of course.
And
wouldn't have it any other way.
it would seem appropriate given the fact that we were doing a podcast about being only children. We're spoiled. We're self-centered. We're a third word. We're lonely, self-centered, less empathetic, more anxious, more
Impulsive.
sensitive, need solitude, possess the wisdom.
We're perfectionists.
I'm me when I'm a perfectionist.
Mind if I perfection?
And yeah, I'm a deep thinker and I'm also a
I'm
shoplifter.
a bad sharer.
Not anymore. That's a joke. I am still a bad sharer, though, especially if you can't clean it with the Clorox wipe. All
Ew.
right. Thank you again, Amber. Thanks for tuning into this episode of
Thank you.
D-Talk. If you're listening on Spotify, leave a review. I know, type in words. It really helps us out. If you're watching on YouTube, consider subscribing to the channel. I appreciate you so much for doing that. And until next time,
Goodbye.
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 So, Amber,
David.
when did you first know that you're a spoiled Does anybody
Still wear a hat.
It's like a roach motel. Just imagine that it was so good that they didn't want to leave.
They never wanted
Okay.
to.
I'm not even thinking about what I'm saying.
Just the words are popping out.
It's just all coming out, and it's not even what I'm thinking. I think that might get me canceled
Yes.
by those liberal snowflakes.
Can't have that.